In this episode, we are going to be speaking about why is it your mediumship may be failing. It's difficult, isn't it? Because we're speaking about mediumship. We are speaking about communicating intelligently with the dead. So of course it's going to be difficult. But I've wrote down 20 of my key points that I believe that each and every one of you may struggle with. And if you are somebody who is actively struggling with any of these points, hopefully by me raising the point to you and addressing it and giving you a little bit of a solution, you're going to be able to go on your merry way in mediumship. If you're new here, my name is Psychic Medium Jordan Coburn, and I can prove with evidence of the afterlife. I've helped thousands of people on this earth plane to once again be able to contact their loved ones in spirit by the understandings and by the teachings, and now it's your turn. Each and every one of you can become great mediums, and here at Help Heal Serve, we can give you the tools and the foundations to help you along your mediumship journey. Not to mention, my friends, we have the Help Heal Serve family, a loving and supporting community. Without further ado, let's get into my top number one. So the top thing that I think a lot of people initially coming into mediumship are going to fail with is going to be self-doubt. It's difficult, isn't it? Because self-doubt is going to be overcome with confidence. But how can you get confident in mediumship if you're not getting it right? Well, we're going to explain to you. When we're speaking about self-doubt in mediumship, it's important to know your role as a medium. If you are coming into mediumship and you don't believe that the spirit world are there is no such thing as the spirit world, what a stupid notion. You, my friend, are going to struggle with this 100%. Because you yourself are destroying any connection you may gain. It starts at a minute spark, and from that spark, your mediumship will blossom into the most majestic flower that your little mind can imagine. But it starts at the spark. It starts at the very bit. And that's you. You have to believe in this. You have to believe that you have what it takes to become a medium. And yes, I know it's difficult because a lot of you are brought up on entertainment, mediumship and entertainment. A lot of you are brought up on social media platforms where it is rife for scammery. People with no understanding at all managing to get a platform and just exploiting the living daylights out of the living. Unfortunately, that is the society and the day and age that we live in. These people are making money at the end of the day, each to their own. But what you've got to remember is for yourself, the belief from spirit starts at you. You have to fully believe in this. You have to come into this with a skeptical mind, of course. Don't just don't just watch this video and because I've said you've got to believe in it. You've got to feel it in your jiggly bones. You've got to just be connected to that energy. It's no good somebody saying you the spirit world are real and then you believe in it, because that would be being a sheep. This isn't a channel for you if that's the case, because we don't tolerate any of that. Sorry to interrupt this video, but we'd like to say a big massive thank you to each and every one of you from the bottom of our hearts. For everyone who drops the like button, who leaves comments of Help Heal Serve, we notice it. But that's not all. We now have memberships in place on this channel for those of you who want to financially support the message. It is not an obligation, so don't feel that you are being pressured into doing so. But if you do want to, you will find the memberships on the subscribe button. And if you haven't subscribed, you won't see it. Why the hell haven't you subscribed? Members will get the Help Heal Serve logo in all of the comments that you leave on the channel. Without further ado, let's get back into the video. We want you to become the best version of yourself. By doing that, we give you the understandings, we give you the teachings. However, we have to have you believing in yourself from the very beginning. If this is something that a lot of you are stumbling with, you want to believe that spirit world are there, or you want to connect to the spirit world, but it's a part of you that just doesn't believe in it, then unfortunately this is going to be so difficult for you, because at the very beginning hurdle, you are preventing mediumship from taking place. It's about that growth. It's about the connection that you build and forge with the spirit world. If you are somebody who believes in the spirit world, but it's still not happening for you, remember, believe in yourself. No one else on this earth plane is going to believe in you the way that you can believe in yourself. It is you who is ultimately going to make this work or not work. A lot of people put the onus onto the spirit world. The spirit world just don't like me, Jordan. Jordan, you just don't understand. The spirit world won't give me names. They just do not give me locations. They will not. No. Whoa. Let's back up a second there. The spirit world will tell you everything you need to know. You as a human being are failing to acknowledge or decode the information that's coming forward. And it's important for all of you to know that whilst you might be trying your hardest in mediumship, whilst you might think that you are given everything you possibly can, there is a divine time for everything. Nothing in mediumship is given to us on a plate. Nothing in this life that is worth anything is given to us on a plate. We have to work our very socks off. And when we get to the end goal, guess what? We appreciate it so much more. If you are somebody who is struggling with the belief of spirit, one thing I would say for you to do is to step away from all teachings. Now, whether that be my channel, whether that be somebody else's, doesn't bother me. But the point I'm trying to make is we need you to be alone with yourself. We need you to understand what it is that you want from this. Don't come into mediumship and believe that there is no such thing as spirit, because it's just counterproductive. Come away from some of the platforms that are telling you that there is no such thing as spirit. If you watch shows that try to debunk spirit, these sorts of individuals, yes, sometimes they have very valid points, but you can't argue with evidence. I'm not talking about TikTok or going on to different Instagram platforms and seeing some of the generic junk that is absolutely spat out into the universe by people claiming to be mediums. These aren't mediums, my friends. A medium should deliver clarity, direction, and purpose. If you have not one of them elements within a reading, you are not getting a reading. And this is one thing that you have to remember. If you've been conditioned that the spirit world aren't there, we need you to start believing that there's a slight possibility that it could be there. This is going to help your belief build. This is going to help your connection strengthen. This is going to help you become that medium that you so want to be. The next point that I'm going to come to is comparing yourself to others. Listen, it's so easy in this day and age to compare yourself to one another. And I'll tell you the reason why it becomes very, very difficult in mediumship. Because each and every one of you are going to have very, very, very unique journeys when you come into mediumship. And it holds no value. A lot of you might look at me and you might say, well, I want to do what Jordan does, and I want to be able to work with spirit. I want to be able to bring forward evidence like it. You can do that. But don't look at me and say you want to be like me. You are unique. You have to think of yourself as being better than me. And whilst there's a lot of you going, well, no, that's an egotistical thing. You tell me not to be egotistical. I'm not. But you need to have what is best for you. What I've got works beautifully for me. It is exactly what I want. And obviously I've got more coming. But for you, this shouldn't be your end goal. You want to surpass where I'm at. You want to be the best version of yourself. And that goes to each and every one of you. That isn't being egotistical, but don't compare yourself to other people. What is the point of living your life experience and being that, being along the divine spiritual path that you are currently on to gain all of the knowledge, to gain the understandings, the life lessons as you go, if you are just going to be pacified by just wanting to be like someone else? Strive for more. Aim for perfection. We'll never be perfect. But that's what you should aim for. That should be your mental model. You want to be the most perfect medium you can be. That way, and that being said, whilst you'll never be perfect, you are always striving for perfection. You are always going to strive to be better. Again, remember, to any one of you who think you can come into mediumship and get comfortable, I'm going to rock your little worlds here. There's not one of you should ever in mediumship, in tarot, in any form of divination, in any sort of practice where you are working with spirit, become comfortable. When you become comfortable, you become complacent. When you become complacent, you will not spiritually grow. You will effectively put yourself on a little bit of a pedestal and you'll sit there because you're in your comfort zone. You'll go into a location, you can go into like say spiritualist churches, or you can go into different communities, and you'll see these sorts of people the second you walk in. Gina, she's been in the spiritualist church for about 40 years. She's done nothing other than tarot reading. She's never charged a penny in her life. She's just done it for a close group of people. She's happy. But do you think that she could have gotten further by not being comfortable? Of course she could. She could have been owning the place. But no, she's got comfortable. She's now sitting in a little small-minded group. And that's not a dig at communities. I'm not saying, but the majority of these places are. And if you are somebody who is getting offended by that, take a look at these locations. They tell you what you have to do. They tell you what you have to believe. Each and every one of you are bloody unique, and you should be treated like the unique individuals that you are. I know a lot of people might have had good experiences in groups, communities. My biggest problem with these locations is the way in which they tell you you have to protect. You have to sing. You have to play music. Listen, you don't have to do any of this bloody crap that they're trying to tell you to do. You have to just embrace it and follow your own path. I know I got quite animated there, so I'm going to try and calm myself down. I always get angry. Well, I wouldn't say angry. I just get very frustrated. I share the spirit world's frustrated when it comes to these sorts of groups who are telling people to protect, who are telling people you've got to pray, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, just because they don't have the knowledge. They have knowledge gaps galore, and you only have to spend a second in the company of these locations to realise what the hell is going on here. The majority of you might have been to one and never went back because you didn't feel welcome. How on earth can that be of anything of spirit? It's not. It's egotistical driven individuals from mankind sharing their own notions among each other. This, and again, this is coming from a spirit. So please, to any one of you who are thinking of going into a community group, in a circle, or going in, don't. Go into these locations when you are armed with the understanding. An understanding that you can gain from this channel. We've got many videos on this channel about how you can gain an understanding. An understanding that will not only help you progress, but an understanding that will serve you. Then you spread your wings and go into these locations. And when somebody comes up to you and says, you need to protect, you go, shut the hell up. I don't need to protect. I have a good understanding. Why do you protect? Oh, well, it keeps us safe from the spirit world. Well, my understanding that you should never need to protect from the spirit world or the realms, but you have to protect from poor understandings of bad teachings, supersedes your humanistic notion. And then they go, you've been listening to Jordan, haven't you? Oh. Get what I'm saying? So just remember, okay, comparing yourself to others, getting back onto the main topic that we're trying to bring up there. Don't do it. Do not compare yourself to another person. Not in mediumship, not in your everyday life, not in your job. Appreciate the caring and individual that you are. Appreciate the hurdles that you've managed to overcome in your lifetime. Appreciate that the spirit world have a lot in store for you. Appreciate what you can give to mankind. Appreciate the fact that you are an empathic individual on a quest to help mankind and to bring around healing. These are the things that you should be embracing. Not the wants, needs and desires of your ego, wanting to be that person, wanting to be this person. No. Be happy in your own skin. Be happy with the person that you have become. This is what is going to help you along your mediumship journey. A lot of people will look, so again, coming back to myself, a lot of people will look at the work that I do. And they might look at the work that I do and be like, I want to do that. I'm going to give myself a year to be like Jordan. Whoa. Backtrack. Why do you think this isn't working? Mediumship isn't a game, and it's certainly not something that you can dictate when it's going to work. Mediumship takes time, dedication. It takes perseverance. A lot of you will realise very, very quick coming into mediumship how frustrating it will be. And comparing yourself to others is only going to add to that little bit of fuel. It's going to increase that frustrations. Because you are going to see each and every person individual. You are going to see other people around you succeeding. However, you might not be succeeding. This isn't like a college course that you get from high school or an exam that you get from university. This is an exam of oneself. This is where you are refining yourself as an individual to work alongside of energy. So to any one of you who think that this is easy or are looking at other people and wondering why you're not there yet, stop that. That's the complete wrong attitude. You don't need to compare yourself. Just embrace wherever it is. Yes, it's going to be frustrating because you want to contact the spirit world, but again, this isn't like something you can't just go and get these notions and theories overnight. A lot of you may be the polar opposite. A lot of you, if you are at the right level of your spiritual evolution, you may get the connections immediately. You may just go straight into mediumship and all of a sudden, here presto, you are connected. But to you who's watching this video, don't compare yourself to any of those people. Let them have their journey. Let them embrace. Be happy for them. Be happy for where they're at. As much as it's as painful as, don't get us wrong, right? There's individuals who I'll look at in the materialistic world who've got paranormal locations and they've got museums and they've got all of their own TV shows. Do you think there's not a part of me that goes, I wish I had that? Of course there is. But I'm happy for them. I don't hate on them. I don't wish that was me. I aim for that. I aim above that. I strive to be better, the best version of myself as I potentially could be. By doing that, not only are we gaining higher than where these individuals are at, in our world, we are taking over. We are advancing far beyond them. In the realistic, in the mindset, in their world, they're where they want to be. But again, concentrate on where you want to be. And in mediumship, it has to be that you believe in the person that you are. You aren't going out trying to be like everyone else. Be unique. I tell each and every one of you, right? Listen, if you've seen me on the street, there is not one of you who would say, oh, he works with dead people. He works with... None of you would realise, why is that? Because I don't care about the image. You see some of these bloody lunatics and idiots, and they'll walk around with little pointy hats on because they think that it makes them look like a medium. Or you'll see them like sitting there with some sort of cloak on and they're going... Listen, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to actually achieve? You are devaluing the services that you are doing as a human being. You are taking the beautiful mediumship journey away from individuals and you are replacing it by materialistic things from in this world. The problem is with that, it really infuriates us because you do see a lot of people who fall into the trap of believing that they need to look like a medium. They need to dress like a medium. They need to dress like a tarot reader. They've got to have weird little mustaches because they think it looks tarot-y. They need to have weird little glasses because they think... And I'm not talking about glasses here that you need to see. Listen, you need glasses to see that, and then that's great. But I'm on about these people who are wearing glasses with no bloody glass in them. They're just wearing them because they think it looks like... Honestly, it blows my mind. The ideologies and, the egotistical notions of mankind and how they can be so egotistical within their own appearance is just absolutely mind-boggling. Remember, the more you make something look theatrical, the less chance there is of anyone else trying it. You get what I'm saying? Can you get why I get so frustrated with it? It needs to look normal. People need to be able to know that they can approach it. They don't have to go and buy the special scarf. They don't have to buy the special hat. They don't have to have the glasses with no bloody glass in. They don't have to have the special ties. They don't have to have the special cloak. They don't have to have the special water. See what I'm saying? I'm going on a rant here, right? But it really does infuriate us because some of these individuals who get on the platforms, it's about time each and every one of you see that their work doesn't speak for themselves. Their image might look spooky and might look like a medium might look, but it's not about the image. It's about the evidence. Where is it? How is it that mankind have become this naive? Where rather than going to somebody who's offering a service and getting what you want from the service, it's now socially accepted to just go to them because of the way they look. Beyond me, like seriously, really. I'd love to know... Hopefully I haven't offended you. If I have offended you, then you are the sort of person why I make these videos. The next thing that we're going to be speaking about is fear of skepticism. There's going to be a lot of you who are scared to become a medium because, again, coming back to what we had said earlier, There is a lot of people on this earth plane who are there to exploit individuals, who are there purposefully to scheme mankind out of their hard-earned money. When you become a medium, you find out very, very quick in your development the type of person that you are. I'm all for helping people. I'm all for giving people the tools so that they can help themselves. That is my motto. That is what I am here to do. That is what I will continue to repeat till the day of my departure from the materialistic plane. I'm not here to make it easy for you. I'm here to give you the tools. If you want the tools and you want to put in that hard work, that effort, that time, then guess what? I can make you a medium. There's not one of you that I can't make you a medium. That's why I found this channel. Fun point. The problem that each and every one of you are going to come up against in mediumship is the individuals who are currently performing mediumship. I'm going to say performing because it is an act. It isn't evidential. There are some mediums out there who are evidential, and you know, I've got a good friend, Caroline Tyndall, evidential medium Caroline Tyndall, very good evidential medium. There are other very good evidential mediums. However, let's not get confused here. There is a shed load of individuals who are not mediums. They are not mediums. They should not be. But the problem is because of the way that mankind work and the way that mankind's egos work, before we even know how to do something, we're putting a title, we're claiming to be something we're not. Now, I would recommend to each and every one of you who are trying to become a medium, then call yourself a medium. It's not a problem. The problem I have is when you start charging people for a service and you aren't giving them the service that they are paying for. And then, because you didn't give them evidence or you didn't give them that, rather than going, actually, what went wrong in that reading? You say they're wrong. Or you say, well, the spirit world are wrong. This is, one of the problems with man. It's so easy to point a finger and blame for something going wrong. Then what it actually is to accept and own the mistake. When it comes into mediumship, I think there's a little bit of delulu comes into it also. Especially when you're given a reading, you want that person to look at you in a different way. Personally myself, I couldn't care less how any person looks at me. But there is a majority of people, by the way they dress also, this just confirms it, it's not just my way of saying it, look at the way some of them dress. They want the spotlight on them. They want the attention on them. They want all eyes on them. So when something goes wrong, rather than going, why did that go wrong? Maybe I should have put more attention into my mediumship, into who I am as a person, than the clothes that I was going to wear during the reading. Do you get what I'm going with that? And this is why there's going to be a lot of skepticism from each and every one of you. There's going to be a lot of people. We are up, and to any one of you who follow my teachings, we have a fight on our hands. And I don't mean a fight as in a fisticuff fight. I mean mankind are sick. There are a lot of people on mankind's, a lot of people who have been given and sold and bought into this notion that mediumship can be used as a facade. It can be right or wrong. It can be this sort of horrible yuckiness that just encoats mankind with these notions and ideologies where the spirit world may not be there. Information might not be there. You might pay for a reading, but I might not be able to get you that information. And it's become normal. Yous are going to be the ones, along with myself, along with this message, who break that mold. You are going to let your actions speak louder than words. Again, you'll hear me say it on all of my videos. I don't care what people say about me. I let my actions speak for me. Yeah, there's not a video I do where the spirit world aren't with us. There isn't a reading I do where the spirit world aren't with me. And that's something that each and every one of you should remember, because if that's the same for me, it's the same for yous. So we need to get rid of the understandings of mankind. We need to start again. We need to start building mediumship up slowly, from the ground up, ground level up. Instead of making it so far out of reach for the everyday person, let's change the dynamic here. Let's give the everyday person the voice to contact the spirit world. That's what we are doing here. So yes, you are going to be right to think of skepticism, because There are going to be a lot of eyes on you. There are going to be a lot of people who want you to fail from the beginning, just because we are changing the way that this works. We are making this universal. There are a lot of people who make a lot of money from this being out of your reach. But we're breaking down those paywalls. We have a mission, and our mission will not stop until we have succeeded in our quest line to ensure that each and every person on this planet can contact their loved ones in spirit if they wish, from the understandings on this channel. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the things, criticism, you're going to worry about. And let's be honest, a little bit of ego spills into that, doesn't it? Because you don't want to be wrong. You do not want to sit in front of somebody and think of being wrong. Because the second you do, you are going to think, oh my God, I'm not a great medium. Oh my God, what's going on? Why did that happen? Why did the spirit world hate me? Oh, straight away, pointing the finger. It's everyone else but yourself. Stop that. The only person who can prevent and stop and sever the connection from the spirit world or a reading taking place is bloody you. Yeah? It's you. You are the problem in this. Mediumship as an act and as a process is simplistic. It can't go wrong. The human side of you is what is going to make it go wrong. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's very difficult for me to be able to kind of give you a solution to skepticism apart from prepare you for it. And just remind you the reason why people will be skeptical against you. These understandings don't get found in teachings. You don't get these in history books. You don't get these in books of mankind. I don't need mankind's teachings, theories or notions. I get my information direct from the realms themselves, from the spirit world, the realms, yada, yada, yada. So you won't find any of this. This is why mankind frown upon it. They throw holy water at the screens when they see me on. They do all these different things. And the problem is because they know that their time is coming. They know that mankind are going to be very, very wise to some of these money-making pyramids that mankind have on this planet. The next thing that I'm going to come to, I think it's very relevant for each and every one of you to know. Patience is a virtue. And I've got to be completely frank with you. I'm the most impatient person you'll ever find. I hate it. I want everything now. And that's why, even for myself, all jokes aside, I'm not that bad now. But when I first come into mediumship, I don't wait. Like, it's like if me, for example, I'll give you a prime example of mine with my little ADHD brain, right? If I see something and I want it, I'll buy it instantly. I don't look into it. I don't look into the reports. I don't look into the reviews. I'll just go and buy it. Like, I can't wait for things. When you come into mediumship, you can't have that attitude. Because this isn't on any one of your terms. The spirit world will work in conjunction with your extrasensory perceptions. Now, we've got full videos on this, so don't worry about it if you don't know what the extrasensory perceptions are, or your clairsenses. But the spirit world are actively going to be working alongside of you. You can think of the spirit world in the background like your best friends. The best friends that you've never ever seen before. Some of you will never ever see them. Some of you, if it's in your path and it's in your journey to see them, then guess what? You will use clairvoyance or claircognizance, or they may even come to you in your dreams. But a lot of you will fall at this hurdle because you don't realize or understand why you have to be patient. Because if you're putting the time and the effort in, then surely the spirit world should do the same for you, shouldn't they? Of course they should. And they're not, are they? No. The spirit world are doing 10 times the work behind the scenes just to help you get ready for mediumship development. A lot of people don't realise this. And I think it's the general consensus is that the spirit world are just lazy behind the scenes. They just do a little bit. They just do enough. But that's not what the spirit world tell me. The spirit world are very active behind each and every one of your scenes. Whether that's giving you signs, whether that's giving you calling cards, whether that's giving you little bits of information to make you know that you are connected. They are always actively with you. They are always doing things for you. The patience comes from your wants, needs and desires. If you are somebody who for example, is grieving, which is a completely different topic. We've got videos on that on the channel. But if you're somebody who is grieving, you're going to want to contact your loved one quicker than somebody who is just doing it because they want to contact the dead. You know, people like me who just like to communicate with the spirit world, you know, bring evidence forward from loved ones, for individuals who are still living out their earthly existence. For somebody who is grieving, they want to connect quicker. The problem is with the grieving processes, you can't connect properly until the grieving process has been completed. Then that brings into a new problem, because you want to contact them so bad, and why are you being punished? They're already getting you signs, they're already getting you information, but your human mind, through the pain, the mental suffering, the anguish that you are still currently going through in this moment in time, it severs the connection to the spirit world. So whilst they can get you information, you can't interpret that information. On rare occasions you may in dreams, they're saying, but it's very, very rare in a day-to-day process, because the grieving takes over your brain. It's every second of every day, every little bit of spare capacity your brain has to go and think about something or to go and do something. It's thinking about them. It's thinking about how you can connect. It's thinking about, are they there? Do they still love you? To any one of you who is grieving, I recommend you go and watch the video of grieving on this channel, first of all. Second of all, know that your loved ones in spirit are not in pain. They are not suffering. They are not missing you. And I know there's going to be a lot of you going, oh, he said that. Yes, I bloody said that, because they're with you more now in your life than what they were as they were alive. The spirit world are omnipresent, like the air that you breathe. Every milestone you overcome, they are going to be with you. And I know you'd probably want them to be materialistic, but when you learn how to become a medium, you'll realise that it doesn't matter. You've always connected to them. It's like I've got loved ones in spirit, and literally I talk to them on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's not all of the time, but sometimes I'll be going walking along the street and I'll hear like a cheeky remark or something like that, and it's like funny and quirky, and I'll just burst out laughing. And that's the way that the spirit world can work with you. So please understand, patience is a big thing when it comes into your mediumship development. You can't rush it. You can't rush mediumship. Just like you can't force a flower to blossom. It doesn't work like that. Patience is key to gaining a connection and forging a unique bond with the spirit world. The next thing that I'm going to come over to, sorry everyone, I'm touching my nose because I forgot to take my hay fever tablet before I come on camera. The next thing I'm going to mention is trying to control mediumship, which kind of ties into what we've just been speaking about, but I felt this was, merited its own. Because a lot of you will try and control mediumship, and what you can't do is you can't control something out of your comprehension. Whilst you can learn how to connect, you don't dictate how mediumship works. And you have just seen us pour water on my face there, spirit of laughing. You don't dictate how the process of mediumship actually works. What you do is you decipher code from the spirit world. There is a lot of things, I get asked this quite a bit, like what's our life purpose? And each and every one of you have very different purposes. But coming into the control part of it, you've got to remember there's some things in this world that we will never know. For a very good reason. Mankind as a species like to destroy anything that we don't understand. Could you imagine what mankind would do if they knew how to destroy the spirit world? There would be some idiot out there who would try and destroy it just for the fun. And the problem with that is why a lot of secrets, there's a lot of things that the human mind will never know. For example, we can tell you how mediumship as being a conduit works. We can tell you how to become a channel. We can tell you all of the different things to do with mediumship. But mediumship in itself, the energy transition, how the energy works to send you that information, there's a lot of things that are very, very... There'll be somebody who will say, oh, because it's a universal vibrations and it's sent here by outer space beings. They don't have a clue what they're talking about, because believe me when I say this, the spirit world deliberately keeps secrets from mankind. Deliberately. Now, not when you're in a reading, so in case there's anyone thinking, oh, well, the spirit world don't tell my name, so does that cause to keep secrets? No, that's because you're not asking the questions. The spirit world will tell you what you need to know, not what you want to know. And This is one of the things that you have to understand and appreciate when it comes into mediumship development. You have to learn as much as you can learn. And try not to force things that you don't understand too much. For example, if you are learning mediumship and you pick up the mediumship journey and everything just clicks into place for you, and you are that one person where literally you've just done one lesson and everything's worked for you, great. What you shouldn't then do is then question why it's working the way that it's working. Go with it. Ride that wave. The problem is when you try to question things and when you try to question things out of your control, it is going to cause mental blocks in your mediumship. It is going to hinder any development that you may have from that point on, because rather than just going with the flow, rather than just embracing the mediumship for what it is and it's working, we are now starting to... Spirit are telling us it's like this. Yeah. So for the lot of you who drive a car, when you get behind the wheel of a car and you're driving along the road, when you first get it and you get behind the wheel and you're a new driver and you've got your two hands on and you're going along and you're taking in everything. You're taking in everything. Things that you don't need to take in. Then when you get very good at driving a car, you just get behind the wheel and you're just driving it. It just flows. It's natural. When you are driving the car in the latter stage and you are just embracing it, you're just driving it, you've got your one hand on, you like that, you've got your music on, you're like dancing along to Aquaman or whatever you're dancing to. At no point are you looking at the windscreen wondering, how long did it take to make that windscreen? Why does it that the windscreen wiper work? What wires are connected? Where do them wires go that are connected to the wind? None of these do it. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because it doesn't serve you in those moments. You are driving that car. You are driving that car to wherever you need to be. You are going from A to B. That is the process. That is you going. That is you in mediumship. So when mediumship starts working and you are driving and you are fully educated and you've got that connection and it's just coming in thick and fast, all of that information, just ride it. Just go with it. Try not to question things that you don't need to question. Going back to the car analogy, we're driving a car. The car's getting where we need to be from A to B. Should we be asking where the chair was made? Should we be stopping to, as we're driving along, to start pressing buttons on the radio to see what the buttons do? No, we shouldn't. We should be concentrating on the task at hand. Vice versa for each and every one of you. The next thing I'm going to come to is emotional imbalance. This is quite a difficult one because each and every one of you have to realize that human beings, sometimes we hold on to baggage that we shouldn't. Now, this is quite a spiritual thing to say, and I try to stay away from it, but remember to only hold on to things that serve you. I try to stay away from all of that garbage, but you yourself will hold on to negative things. These negative things, these occurrences, these happenings that you believe you can't let go of, you can't, they've stayed with you, that's it, you've been maimed. You've got to understand what you choose to accept is what you welcome into your world. Now, when it comes to energy, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It takes more energy to hate than what it does to forgive. Now, when I say that statement to you, a lot of you will be like, oh, well, actually, that makes sense. But yeah, I can't do it. They cheated on me, Jordan. Jordan, you don't know my circumstances. This was horrible and they were so nasty to me. Yes, okay, that's completely fine. I'm not disputing that. I am not disputing that it was horrible for you. What I am saying is why are you choosing to hang on to it? Why aren't you living your life to the fullest? Why aren't you embracing the life that you have and looking for a future instead of hanging on to the past? This is the point that I'm trying to make with emotional imbalance. This is going to be one of the first things we are going to have an imbalance with. We are going to have problems and issues that we don't want to move away from, because by moving away from, we are either accepting it, or you might have, again, coming back to grief. Or you might have mental health issues. You may have something within your brain that you are on medication for. This is a realistic thing. This is also going to affect your mediumship because your moods. Remember, when the spirit will start using your extrasensory perceptions and they are giving you, for example, in a reading, you may have to do a reading for somebody who has taken their own life. You may have to do a reading for somebody who has severely been depressed before they left this materialistic world. If the spirit world starts showing you these feelings, then that's going to infiltrate into your everyday world. So what we've got to do is for yourself before you come into mediumship, is make sure that you in your own mind are ready for this. Because when you come into mediumship, it is all green lights go. Whilst, yes, a lot of you are going to get frustrated because it doesn't happen in the way that you want, it is going to be so quick. Keep a journal. If you feel that you are holding on to things and maybe I've said something there and you are now starting to think about it, or it's reignited an old memory and now you're thinking about it. There's a reason why you are thinking about it. This is what we need to get rid of. Spirit world are deliberately highlighting that memory to you to get rid of it. It doesn't serve you, especially when you come into mediumship. I liken this when you come into mediumship is being like a person rolling around in mud. And I know you hold on till the end of the analogy before you start laughing. If I was to go out in my back garden now and roll around in mud, yeah, I'd probably get locked up. But if I was to go and do that, think of all the mud that sticks to me. Think of all of that horribleness, all of those. This would be the likeningness to the everyday occurrence. So it could be a relationship breakdown. It could be a loss in the family. It could be an angry episode. It could be a fight. It could be an argument. Yada, yada, yada. I think you can see where I'm going. So the mud is representative of that. Now, when you come into mediumship, you have to be squeaky clean. I couldn't come into mediumship covered in mud. I'd have to go in the shower. I'd have to get all of that off. I need to be a conduit to the message. None of my baggage comes into a mediumship reading. And each and every one of you need to understand and appreciate that when you come into a mediumship reading, should be your primary focus. Making sure that your problems aren't coming into a reading either. So yeah, emotional imbalance is definitely going to be something that each and every one of you should definitely practice. The next thing that I'm going to mention is inadequate practices. These are going to be protection. Primary one. Majority of people you'll go to will tell you that you need to protect from the spirit world. And I'll tell you the reason why they'll tell you that is either they've been brought up with the understandings of Hollywood and entertainment. They've been around individuals who have knowledge gaps. Or they may have even went into a community or a circle. And because one person says it, it then becomes mankind's notions. It then becomes the normal meta. No one thinks for themselves. No one. The problem is what you've got to understand is when you work with spirit closely, you will see that there is nothing to fear from the spirit world. I mean, bloody hell, go and look at the latest Soul Seekers episode. Go and have a look at that episode, and you will see the spirit world want to show themselves to each and every one of you. They want to be part of your world. They want to help you. And mankind, whether that be through ignorance, whether that be through scheming, making money from each and every one of you, they will sell you ideas. Sorry, everyone. They will sell you ideas. For example, I'm going to sell you the ideology that in a past life, you had a traumatic episode, which the spirit world are telling me it's preventing you moving forward in this life because you've got confidence issues from a past life. If you give us £200, then I'll put that right for you over multiple different classes. Or you're going to have people who are going to say, right, I've got this perfect spell for you. This spell is going to remove any unwanted energies from around you. Or I've got some sage here. Would you like to cleanse your room? Would you like us to come and cleanse your home? I'll do it for a charge. Again, look at all of these different things. And whilst there's a lot of you going, well, I've heard about them, actually, Jordan. You might have even been somebody who's suffered at mankind's notions and you've actively went and paid for one of these services. And you might be thinking, well, it worked, Jordan, it worked. No, the power of suggestion worked. The fact that they implanted that notion in your mind, its basic business model, they highlight the problem and offer a solution for a charge. So you've went with the intent to have this clearance. You've went with the intent to have your chakras realigned. You've come out feeling great and your chakras now feel aligned to one with the universe. But they're no different to when you went in. It's the placebo effect. And this is a scientific effect. It's nothing that you just can go and check it out for yourself. And this is where a lot of you will fall into the inadequate practices. Because you are following mankind's teachings, you are reading books, you are going to courses, you are going on to these thousands of pounds retreats, because you think that is the normal thing to do. Listen, by the time I'm finished on YouTube, that won't be the normal thing to do. In these locations who are exploiting the absolute living daylights out of mankind are going to be named and shamed. No one will pay thousands of pounds for courses. It's going to be affordable for the everyday person. It is going to be universal for the everyday person. There's not going to be one person who'll watch any of my videos and not be able to connect. I guarantee you that. So, yeah, got a little bit passionate there. Because, again, you know, I spend a lot of my time, whether you believe it or not, I spend a lot of time thinking of ways and means to help each and every one of you. Thinking of ways to break down different scenarios. For example, again, we shouldn't question how mediumship works. But me, with a methodical way of thinking, I instinctively do it. If you're new coming into mediumship, I wouldn't recommend you to even try it. But when you are already doing it, then you can go, well, actually, it's like everything on this channel, right? I can give you all of the groundworks, I can give you all the blueprints to help you along your divine spiritual path. But when you get to where you need to be, do I still think you'll follow my teachings? No, you'll just make your own teachings. You'll think what worked for you, and then you'll go on to your own channel, and then you'll start helping people. But by the understandings that I've given you on this platform, hopefully you will go the right path. You will help mankind to be able to help themselves. Again, it's one of those things where a lot of people will watch my videos and be like, well, how do you know you're correct? Because I can bloody prove it. I don't need to lie, scheme, make things up. What do I gain from this? Seriously, what do I gain from YouTube? I don't make no money. Well, that's a bit of a porcupine. We've just been monetized. So, yeah, you could argue and say, well, you've got members or you've got sponsorships, or you could probably say that, yeah. But when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, I mean, this video alone is going to take us about 2 hours to create, or maybe an hour and a half. So you can see I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. I break processes down to the very bare basics. And a lot of you might say, well, how can you say that your processes are right? I can prove. I have a long list of people who now contact their loved ones in spirit on a daily basis, who were told they would never be able to contact them. I can prove everything I do, everything that I say. I wouldn't come onto a public platform and say these things if I couldn't back up my words. Do I look stupid? The answer to that's no. I'm not stupid. I'm very, very clever when it comes to certain aspects of who I am, what I want to achieve, and how I can help you to achieve the greatest version of yourself. I'm very clever when it comes to that. Ask us how to count to like 100. I'd probably get that wrong. But there's certain parts of me I play to my strengths. So inadequate practices is going to be another thing that's going to prevent you. I would recommend you to ensure that you are watching an educator who you feel connected to. For example, if you're watching one of my videos and automatically you just don't like something I say and you want to switch it off, switch off. Seriously, what you choose to accept is what you welcome into your world. If you are watching somebody who is teaching you a certain style of mediumship, and this mediumship involves you singing a chorus before you going in and saying a little bit of a chant and going, and doing all of this to raise the vibrations. Spirit are already there, man. You don't need to raise nothing. What on earth are you going on about? You don't need to raise no vibrations. Spirit are here. They're with us now. So, yeah, I mean, I've been very passionate in this video, if I'm honest. It's the first video I've done for quite some time. But it's I think a lot of these things that I'm mentioning now, I didn't realise at the time of writing the different things down, is how much they can destroy your mediumship by not understanding some of these things. And it was at the time when I decided to make this video, I thought, what can we do? What can we do that's been a little bit different? Because I was originally going to make this video on the live stream. Fun fact, I'm probably not going to do many of these style of videos on the live streams no more. A lot of the time when I'm doing them, I get a lot of interference. I get a lot of, we lose signal and stuff. And it's just not good. It's not professional. It's not why I do these videos. These videos are there to help each and every one of you. And I put pride, I put time, I put dedication into making the most high quality videos I can. That's why you'll probably see a lot more of these style of videos on here rather than over onto the YouTube. So yeah, so the next thing that we're going to come to, sorry everyone, I've got a dry throat. I think it's because I'm not used, well, I'd say it's because I'm not used to talking for this long, but I've still been doing like 3-hour live streams and that, so I don't know. The next thing that I'm going to speak about is avoiding feedback as a medium. Right, let's have it out. Why wouldn't you want feedback? There's going to be, out of 100 people, let's just say for argument's sake, out of 100 people that you do a reading for, you're probably going to get 10 of them wrong. And whilst you don't want to get any wrong, you have to be realistic. There is going to be times when you will just lose that connection. And not to scare you, but we have ways and means to gain a connection again. Again, it's about you fully embracing who you are. I'll give you 2 little options yet to do if you get it wrong. Sorry, the energy is coming in quite strong there. I'm now going to imitate doing a reading. What I would like you to do is pick which one you think would be you. So, Janine, I've got a lady coming through. She tells me her name's Margaret. Margaret tells me that she is 34-year-old and she passed over with a heart attack. Her father is also called Frank. She tells me that Frank is now sick and you are caring for him. The individual in receipt of that message is like this. Sorry, I can't take any of that. I don't know who they are. Do you think this is the right response or the next one? Well, that's what spirit are giving us. So you must be wrong. It's not me. It's not me. It must be you. You just don't like me. You wanted to try and be my downfall. Get out of my room. Or do you think this should be the right response? Not a problem. Give us 2 seconds. I'm going to try and contact the spirit world again. It was me. I must have lost my connection. Give us 2 seconds and I'm going to start again. Now they tell me this. And then she's going, oh, that's right. There's 2 different ways you can deal with a mediumship reading and feedback. You can either accept it for what it is and put it right, or you can deny it, which I see so many people deny any accountability or ownership for a reading. There are some people on this planet who won't even get information from spirit. Some people will use a get out clause. I call it the get out clause. Any one of you who follow my channel and do this, remove yourself, because I don't have time for this. This is something I despise. It's something that I think is just so deep-rooted in mankind's deceitfulness. Jordan, I don't talk to spirits, but what I do is I have a person who comes from spirit to tell me the information. Now, I'll tell you the reason why this happens, right? And if any of you are getting angry with us for saying that, understand this. The reason why somebody will say, I don't speak to spirit, I speak to somebody else, is because when it goes wrong, they can say, oh, well, it wasn't the spirit world. It's the person I'm working with didn't tell us the information. No, that stops there. If you are a medium, you go direct to the loved ones, individuals. If somebody is sitting in front of you and they are wanting to speak to their loved one in spirit, you go to their loved ones. You don't mess on. You don't go to a third person, because when that third person gets it wrong, you have a get out clause then. You're not daft, are you? You're not stupid. You know that by doing that, you don't lose face. Spirit world are wise to it. And to any one of you who practice that is going to be highlighted, especially by this channel, and spirit will start highlighting it also. If you are working with spirit, you go direct to their loved ones. You get that information, because then when you're wrong, you are bloody wrong. Not the person you're getting information from. Because let's be honest, right? If it was a case of their loved one in the room with you and you got something wrong, their loved one's going to know straight away that you don't know what you're doing. But by you saying, I'm going to go to I'm going to go to this person who gives me the information. They tell me that they liked cars. Well, they didn't like cars, they hated cars. Oh, they tell me that they liked sheep. Oh, they're showing us a picture of a sheep's. No, they actually hate it. The despised sheep. Why would my loved one be showing you sheep? And then you go, it's accountability. Denial of ownership and accountability in a reading. The medium's responsibility is to deliver clarity, direction, and purpose to a loved one, to an individual who is seeking information and closure. If you think in any stretch of any world or any imagination of any human being that the spirit world won't give the medium that information, then there's something seriously wrong. Because if I can prove it time and time again, then each and every person on this planet can prove it time and time again. So please, to any one of you, I know I come in hard with that, but I don't like it when a medium puts their hands up like that to spirit. I work with spirit, but I'm not working with spirit. I'm going to work with one spirit who's going to tell me that information. No, that's not how this works. You don't have a get out clause. You do not have an option to get this wrong. You work with them spirits directly. You get that information, you give it to the individual. Because if there's any one of you who think that people do this for any other reason, then what I've just mentioned there, you're deluded. You seriously are. These individuals don't work directly with the spirit world, and it's not because of the reason why you're thinking. It's not because they're chosen. It's not because that's how they feel safe are working with spirit. It is for the deniability. Because if their loved one or somebody is in a room getting a reading and they get it wrong, they blame the spirit. Oh, Frank's give us the wrong information there. I'm sorry, Frank's not with it today. You're not bloody with it today. Not Frank. Can you see where I'm seeing with that? And I know I get again, you know, I've been really passionate and animated in this video, and I do apologise if any of you think that's coming across as being a little bit too strong. But it really boils my piss when I see that people on this planet are still practicing this today. They are still preaching this. Instead of just saying, right, I'm going to go and get the spirit that you want to speak with, they're introducing the third person. This third person can get it wrong, can't they? Can't they though? Think about it realistically. The third person who's been introduced can get this wrong. You are the conduit to the message. Spirit in you. You being the conduit. You are going to deliver that information. We're not introducing third people or fourth people or fifth people or sixth or seventh. It's you in spirit. That's it. And I'm going to come away from it because I know spirit are laughing. So I've probably went a little bit too much into that one. But the next thing that we're going to come over to is the over-reliance of your technique. A lot of you have to trust your own abilities when it comes into mediumship, and you've got to trust the person that you are, your intuition, your guidance, the source that you are working with, and not the source that you're putting your foot. You've got to realise that sometimes when we are doing mediumship and we are practicing mediumship, we can try too hard. We literally can. Mediumship can be as simple as just turning up, getting in the zone, and that's it, going straight for it. Some people, like myself, don't even need to get in the zone. It's just literally 24/7. I speak about the spirit world, which is, I wouldn't recommend each and every one of you to speak to the spirit world 24/7, by the way. I'm not saying to do that in this video, but what I am saying is that's the way that I work. The reason why I would say it's not to each and every one of you, it's not for everyone. You know, you've got to have kind of... the only time I don't really work with spirit is when I've got my son, and that's an agreement between me and the spirit world. However, it's at the beginning of your development, it's definitely not the best way to go about mediumship because you need to know when it's spirit and when it's you. So we've got to remember that our extrasensory perceptions are going to work in specific ways. For example, if you go into a reading and you know that your clear empathy abilities is going to be highly attuned because you are an empathic individual to begin with in mediumship, then that's going to mirror in your mediumship. You shouldn't rely only on clear empathy, is the point I'm trying to make. We've got to be flexing. It's like going, for example, spirit are saying, right? It's like going into a gym, right? And going into a gym, right? And only ever training upper arms. You don't do it, do you? It's not normal. It's not what you would normally do. You would go in there, or you'd get your arms pumped. You'd go and get your legs done, your back done, your chest done. Somebody like me, you just eat loads of pies. But that's the sort of thing that you would do. So why is it that some people, when they come into mediumship, they will only rely on certain extrasensory perceptions? You've got to exercise each and every one of them. We've got full videos. If you are somebody who is completely new and you've just stumbled across this video, then, I mean, thank you to each and every one of you who put Help Heal Servant in the comment section. And also thank you for smashing the like button. But if you are somebody who is just comfortable with using your clear empathy abilities, then you need to break out of that. You can't just rely on one sense. We've got many different senses that we have to be using. Again, we've got full tutorial videos on that, so don't worry about that. The next thing that I'm going to mention in your mediumship, which is going to potentially prevent you from connecting, is going to be your environmental distractions. That being said, for example, if you are trying to connect mediumistically and you are very new to mediumship and you start trying to connect in a busy location, you are going to have noise distraction. You're going to have light pollution. You're going to have individuals who are going to disturb you, who just think you look funny because you're sitting there going, "Rrr." So we need to make sure that when you are connecting to the spirit world, or you are learning to connect to the spirit world, we are doing this in a controlled manner. We can do this in several different ways. We can create a safe space. We can create a location where you aren't going to be bothered. You aren't going to have anyone coming and disrupting anything that you're doing. We should also be dedicating time aside. For each and every person, depending on your lifestyle, depending on the way that you live, it's going to be very, very different. It's not a one glove fits all this. But I would recommend at least 30 minutes sessions to a week, bare minimum. That should be, if you are wanting to become a medium and you are wanting to connect to the spirit world on a mediumistic level, in the quickest and fastest way possible, you need to be spending at least 30 minutes a week in meditation with the spirit world. That's just categoric. That's what you should be aiming for at the very, very minimal. However, you can then start to go on to more. You can start to do more meditations if you feel necessary. Start going in to do some more sort of mediumship readings, tarot readings, yada, yada, yada. There's loads of different ways. The next thing that I'm going to mention is ignoring your spiritual development. This is where you aren't really going to be paying attention to what the spirit world are telling you. This is where you're going to go into a meditation, you're going to be shown something, and you're not taking note, you're not putting it in the journal, you're forgetting it, you're not really interested. You're kind of just doing the simultaneous, the motions of becoming a medium, but you're not really following it through. You're not really committed at that point. You're not really taking the time out of your day to put in the hard work and effort. This is something that is really going to destroy your connection to the spirit world, because you need it. The core foundation of becoming a medium is you. It's oneself. You need to refine the person that you are as an individual to be able to work effectively and in harmony with the spirit world. So if you don't know where you are spiritually rooted, and you don't know who you are as a person, and you don't take note or heed warning as you are going along your mediumship development, it's going to become very difficult for you. So how do we overcome this? I would recommend to each and every one of you to keep a journal. A journal is a great idea, and it's a great way of documenting your entire journey. It's a great way of you picking up, if over several occasions there's been several different sightings of a specific energy or a specific person and you don't know who they are, then with it being documented in your journal, we can go back to it at a later date and say, well, actually, hang on, I've seen this person on 3 different occasions. Who are they to me? I want to know, because a lot of the time when you go into a meditation, you'll just forget it when you come out of it. I always say a dream of spirit or anything to do with spirit, you won't forget. However, the majority of the time you've got to understand is you as a person, your brain is not designed to retain information that is unnecessary to you. What you see in a meditation is glimpses from the spirit world using claircognizance. And they will show you some of the energies, some of the ideologies, some of the notions that you need to become a better version of yourself. However, that doesn't mean to say that you're going to retain all of these different styles. So this is why we keep a journal. This is why it's very important for each and every one of you to keep, a meditation journal, a reading journal. I would maybe, in terms of the reading journals, I don't mean document what you were talking about during the reading. I mean, document at the end of it how you felt during it. Is there at any point you felt a bit uncomfortable? Is there any, if, for example, you've wrote in it, felt a bit uncomfortable seeing a dead body? And before any one of you say, what do you mean seeing a dead body? How do you think the spirit world are going to show you how they died? I've seen people hanging. I've seen people who've been in car crashes. I've seen people who are lied in a mortuary. And this is one of the things that you've got to realize. This isn't a game. You will see this. This is part of their evidence. So if, for example, you've seen a dead body and it freaked you out a bit, write it in the diary that it freaked you out. Then when it comes to the end of it, then what you can do is you can say to the spirit, okay, so how are we all going to overcome this? You're going to have to show me how to overcome this. I'm scared of seeing blood. I need to know how to overcome this hurdle. So that's going to be the next thing. Another issue that I think is really relevant is going to be your physical health issues. This is where you're going to have physical issues and you are not choosing to accept them. For example, a lot of people, I've got to say it a lot of the times on this channel actually, because there are some telltale signs that you are connecting to the spirit world, but these signs often mimic ailments within the human form. So we've got to be very careful. A lot of the times we have things like tinnitus. Tinnitus is going to be where you have a ringing in the ear. You're going to have things like heart palpitations, which is a very different form. You're going to have loads of different clear telltale signs of your human form breaking down. A lot of people ignore them and think they're spiritual signs. They think it's you connecting to spirit. No, you can't always debunk it as that. If when you connect to spirit, you hear a ringing in your ear and then it goes away, yeah, you can probably categorically say that's spirit. If you're not working with spirit or you're not thinking about spirit and it's happening, then you need to start looking at that as being a medical problem. Then you need to seek the relevant help. You need to go, there's plenty of different doctors, plenty of different locations. There's many more different, we have lots of people who will say that when they think that they're connecting to spirit, they'll start listening to the left or the right. Yes, sometimes this can be the case because you can actually get spirit to say yes or no by pushing you backwards and forwards, which is really awesome. And you'll see that on my paranormal investigations. But if you've got an imbalance in your body, then that could also be that you've got an ear infection or you've got something more sinister going on. So don't just write anything off as being to do with spirit, because it's simply not always going to be the case. The next thing that I think is going to destroy a lot of you is going to be lack of support. Lack of support can be anything from lack of supports within a friendship, lack of supports within family, lack of supports within people who enjoy this style of, let's be honest, mediumship's not for everyone, is it? It's a certain caliber of individual and person who wants to do this. We do have lots of individuals who don't do it for the right reason and they aren't falling into the initial category. Them are just scamming. But you get scammers in every walk in every day of life. So you can't just say, well, mediumship's full of scammers, because listen, you've got people who are fraudsters, you've got people who rob banks, you've got people who scam people out of money using mobile phones. So you've got scammers all over. It's your problem. You need to be aware that there is scamming going on in mediumship. But if you are somebody who is lacking of emotional support and you're lacking anyone who's got a connection, then there's a very simple solution to this. And to be honest with you, it's probably the best solution that you're going to hear. It's the best solution that you are going to be able to use to cultivate an understanding with the spirit world. Spend time with yourself. You are the master of your own destiny. You are the one who is going to ride through those stormy waves and you are going to get to where you need to be. You are essentially going to be the only person who can make this a success or break it at the first opportunity. By spending time in your own company, it will refine you as a person. You don't need anyone around you. And believe me when I say this, there's going to be a lot of you going, well, actually, I do. I'm just so sad. No, you don't. You are a lone wolf. Like myself, we are lone wolves. We operate effectively on a soul level. We don't need people to assist us. We do this because we love it. We enjoy it. It's a passion. Each and every one of you start embracing the person that you are. If you are somebody who lacks support, stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop thinking that you can't do it because you don't have the support. Listen, you've found this channel now, so there's no excuse for this one. You've got the support on this channel. But the one thing that I would say more than that is a lot of the time you've got to realize that we have to be tough to be kind in some cases. You may know somebody who needs the support, especially when it comes into this, but they may not believe in the things that you believe in. The problem is if you spend more time on them trying to help them along their journey, when are you going to be able to help yourself along your journey? So forget about everyone else. Obviously, yes, you're going to have some issues that you're going to need to attend to. You're going to have some commitments that we can't walk away from. But start thinking about yourself here. Think about yourself and where you want to be. Because whilst you might not think that haven't got the support around you, you yourself are the only support that you need to become a great medium. The next thing that we're going to come to is going to be unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations, let us get it out. This is probably going to be the hardest one for each and every one of you, because you've all been told, you've all heard stories shared across the internet, you've all heard these people who've been on magical journeys up to the yonder, on dragons, magic carpets, all these different things. So straight away, when you come into mediumship, that's what you are looking for. Relinquish any needs or any expectations of how mediumship as a process is going to work for you. You don't want, when you start guessing how it's going to work, is the problem that you are going to introduce, where you are going to prevent it from ever working. You've got to just literally ride with it. And I know I've said that multiple times, but you've got to embrace it for what it actually is. Remember that the harder that you try to become a medium, the more difficult it's going to become to walk the mediumship journey. And whilst there's a lot of you who might think, of course, I've got expectations because Sue told me, listen, forget about what anyone else tells you. I'm telling you this now. I am telling you this categorically. Forget about my journey. Forget about anyone else's journey. Your journey is going to be specific to you. It is going to depend on the life experiences that you've had, on the spiritual development that you are currently at, the growth that you've enjoyed through the different scenarios that you've been through. There are many different factors that come in part of the parcel of mediumship. So the worst thing you could possibly do is try to manifest this in a way that you think it is going to be. Unrealistic expectations is one of those things where a lot of you, without even knowing, have probably already got expectations. You've probably already seen other people, heard other people's stories, and you want a piece of that cake, that you want a piece of that pie, cake, sweeties. You want some of that. And that's why now you're watching this video and you want to see what I'm going to say. Well, I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't be listening to other people's stories, or a lot of these people who tell you that they've went on wild stories where they've been up to space, they've done all these different things. A lot of these people are egotistically driven, and whether you choose to believe that or not, the problem is you are going to start thinking that's going to be your story. And it's never going to be your story, because it wasn't their story to begin with. So this is something that you need to remember coming into mediumship, is to be very careful where your expectations are and where you want them to be. Where you want them to be is eradicated from your thought process. You don't want to have any expectations at all. We are going to ride the wave of mediumship. We are going to embrace it for exactly what it is. The next thing that we are going to come to is the fear of failure. The fear of failure is a very, very real thing, because each and every one of you egotistically don't ever want to be wrong. How many of you would let somebody win you in an argument? Not many of you. A lot of you would probably fight tooth and nail. You might have an answer for everything, a bit like me. And we need to remember that the ego comes into mediumship also. Sometimes the fear of failure is going to cause you to fail. Because you are putting so much thought into not failing, and you aren't just simply connecting on a personal level, following the conditioning that you've had, all of the teachings that you've been given. Rather than just following that process, you are going to be focusing on the failure. Listen, when we fail, we put it right. That's as simple as that goes. We don't mess on around it. We don't beat around the bush. If you make a mistake, you put that mistake right. You don't blame the other person. You don't say, well, the spirit world, we're going to blame them today because that's the easiest way to do it. You don't. Each and every human being, as you go along your divine spiritual path, you are destined to make mistakes. We all learn from the mistakes. And don't think for 1 minute that coming into mediumship you won't make mistakes, because you bloody well will. But the difference between you and other people, when you make a mistake, you are going to own that mistake. You are going to simply put your hands up in the air and say, unfortunately, I made a mistake. I'm now going to reconnect. That being said, whilst you can make mistakes, do not accept that you should be making mistakes. Whilst sometimes on some occasions you are going to make mistakes, we've got to be very, very careful, because a lot of people fall victim to this, where they will very, very simply make mistakes. And when they make mistake, they don't have any sort of ethos, any understanding to why it's happened. They don't look at why the mistakes happened. They just write it off as being a mistake. And they're like, oh, well, these things happen. Yes, they happen, but we need to find out why it's happened in the first place. By knowing why it's happened in the first place, we can prevent it from ever happening or even occurring again. This is paramount to your development. This is paramount to the person that you are. We need you to understand that whilst, yes, you may fail, it's not acceptable to fail. When you do fail, however, remember, we put it right. Yeah, don't fall into the trap that you'll find many of our egotistical driven individuals do, where they'll fall into that trap, and all they'll do is they'll blame the other person, they'll blame the spirit world, they'll blame anyone but themselves. They will take no accountability for that mistake at all, because it was the spirit's day off. The spirit world weren't there, etc., etc. So this is something that you need to remember. Also, insufficiency in your development, in your understanding, in your teachings, in your ethos. This is a little bit of a difficult one, because the problem is with this one, there's going to be a lot of you who've watched many different channels. You've been led to channels for a reason, because you want the teachings, you want the understandings. The problem is a horse designed by committee is no longer a horse, it's a camel. Now, this stands for mediumship. Don't think that you can watch one channel and then another channel, then another channel, then another channel and gain the understandings. It doesn't work like that. There is only going to be one understanding that is going to serve you. Now, I'm not saying my understanding is the only one that's going to serve you. I can speak for myself, and I can speak for my teachings, and I can speak through me evidence that I can get you to connect. But what I can't do is accept anyone else's teachings as part of your day-to-day practices. And I'll tell you the reason why. It's because whilst a lot of you might think, well, by watching multitude of different channels, I'm going to gain even more insights. No, you're not. What you're going to do is you're going to learn even more dilutions. Remember, the reason why you are watching these channels, or the individuals that you've been watching, and you've not connected, it's not because they bloody work, it's because they don't work. And you've unfortunately started watching them, and you've made and adopted that as part of your daily practices. You've got to remember, some of these people don't care whether they can prove of evidence or not. I pride myself on proven evidence, clarity, direction, purpose. That's what a reading should be. Some of these other people couldn't care less about, whether they can prove it or not. Some of them, you'll never ever see them proving it. Some of them, they'll say they work with the spirit world. And like, so for myself, you'll see me working with spirit world. You'll see he's doing readings. You'll see he's doing paranormal investigations, where the spirit world will move things, they'll throw things for us on command. I prove each and every video, each and every day, of my connection to the spirit world. But you'll have other individuals who won't even do any of that. They don't do that. They'll just come onto a platform and they'll tell you to read this book because this book helped them. Listen, you are all unique. You don't need to watch any of these individuals. You don't need to learn mankind's notions or theories of how this works. You need to listen to your own spirit teams, to your own guides, your own helpers, your own inspirers. This is the only way that you are going to get an authentic connection to the spirit world. So to each and every one of you who are watching my videos, I'm not saying that you should only watch mine, but for your own benefit, stick to one educator. Don't watch multiple educators. Don't watch multiple people, because they are going to infiltrate your understandings, your notions of many different teaching styles. And unfortunately, that isn't going to serve you. And that's probably why you've found this channel. It's probably why you're watching this part of the video, because you fell victim to that. The next thing we're going to come to is not to burn out. It's difficult one, this, because a lot of you want to give a lot. A lot of you want to give everything you can possibly do. And I understand and appreciate that. You are an empathic individual and you want to give mankind everything that their little hearts need and desire. The problem that you've got to understand is with this is you are living your life journey. You are going along the tribulations of life as well as mediumship. It's a two-part. A lot of people get so caught up in wanting to give. They forget to take. When I say take, I'm referring to your own energy, your own wants, needs and desires. You give them up. The problem is it's got to be a happy work-life balance. You've got to be able to do a little bit of mediumship here, and you've got to be happy to live your life here. If you aren't in the middle there, and it's just more mediumship than what it is you live in your life, then what's the point of living your life? What is the point? What is your purpose? Because you are helping other people, but that's not your purpose. Your purpose isn't just to help other people. Your purpose is to help people along your way and to live your life. What is your goals? What is it that you are aiming for? Where is it that you want to be? This is something that each and every one of you have to understand, because coming into mediumship, it becomes very, very difficult to kind of manage it all. It's essentially like a drug. I say this all of the time, but when you start working with spirit, it's like when you get a taste for it, you just want to do more with spirit. You want to help more. You want to help mankind more. You want to show mankind more things. But at some point, you have to rein that back in. You have to rein it in. You have to ensure that you aren't giving too much. A lot of you are going to fall victim to this, because I know that a lot of you, when you start doing mediumship, you're going to fall into that category of being too nice. So many people fall into this category. Do not be one of those people. You can be nice and you can also be nice. What do I mean by that? There's being nice where you become a shoulder for everyone to cry on, burdening you with every one of their problems and them not moving forward. Or you can be nice where you can say, there, this is how you deal with the problem. Now go deal with it. This is the attitude you should have. Because a lot of you will be like, oh, no, you can't do that, Jordan. You can't just tell people what to do and then send them away. You bloody well can, and you bloody well should. This is how you will counteract burnout. This is how you are going to stop people from taking your energy unnecessarily. In a reading, it's all right, because when you go into a reading, the spirit will give you energy. But remember, when you come, like when I come onto this video, at the beginning, spirit will give me energy. When I come off this video, I'll be running on my own energy. So this is what a lot of you have got to understand is you only have so much energy. For example, at the start of the day, mentally, this bottle was filled with water. Now, this represents my capacity, my energy, my being. However, before I come onto this video, I went out shopping. So there we go. So some of my energy's gone. Then I went and took the dog for a walk. Straight away, energy's here now. I've only got, and then I've done this video. So we've got that little bit of liquid at the bottom, which is now representing my energy. Do you think I'm going to get all of this energy back when I come off the live, off this video? No, it's going to take us time to recuperate. It's going to take us time to build up that energy, to build up. So this is one thing that you've all got to understand. You are not limitless energy. When you return back to spirit, you will be. But as you are living in the materialistic plane, you are not limitless energy. And you've got to see yourself as that. Because if you don't see yourself as that, you are going to burn out, which is a massive problem. Also, remember that we need to be setting clear expectations, clear intentions. If you are going, not expectations, clear intentions, I meant there, sorry. The spirit are saying, you said it bloody wrong, Jordan. Clear intentions. If you're not setting clear intentions and you're going into a reading or you're doing anything along the lines of mediumship and you aren't setting clear intentions, the problem is you are never going to get the best results out of that. It starts at you. You are the one who is in control. You are the one who is along your mediumship development journey. You are the one who is kind of spearheading this movement that you are going through. Therefore, if you don't have the clarity of mind, the intent, the focus, the drive at the very, very beginning of any part of your mediumship development, then you are going to struggle. How are we going to overact that? Now, we need to think about the intent as being key. Intent is key to unlocking your mediumistic abilities in terms of your extrasensory perceptions and gaining more clarity, direction, and purpose during readings. We need to see that. We need that to be the primary focus of you wanting more information. If you don't gain clear intentions and you don't work on this as being one of the key foundations to your mediumship development, you are going to struggle, because when you go into a meditation, you aren't setting your intent. You're just going into a meditation to see what happens. The problem is with that, things will happen. However, it's not in a staged way. It's not in the way that it needs to be for your development. The next thing that we're going to come to is avoiding challenges. A lot of people get so comfortable in mediumship, and I've probably reiterated this at the beginning or at some point of this video. But remember, you are going to be forced and you are going to come along challenges. As in, when you come along challenges, you need to deal with them head on. You can't just bury your head in the sand. Also, what you can't do is, when these challenges are presented to you, we can't dismiss them. We need to ensure that each and every time we are facing challenges, we are seeking to be one better, so to speak. Not in an egotistical way, but we should never become safe. This is the point I'm trying to make from this part. Don't sit there and think, oh, well, I'm happy at doing this, I'm just going to continue to do this. No, that's not happening. When you become comfortable at something, that is the point when something is going wrong. You should never be comfortable in mediumship development. We've got to always strive for more. We've always got to be pushing those boundaries. We've got to be pushing those boundaries with spirits, with ourselves, with the energy, how we connect. We've got to be learning new techniques. We've got to be learning faster techniques. We've got to be learning different ways and means of bringing forward evidence, how to gain that evidence, what evidence we could use, how could the evidence assist in a reading. Got to be thinking about outside of the box at each and every avenue. So don't at any point become comfortable in mediumship, because at that moment when you become comfortable, it is the moment that your mediumship development journey halts. It grinds to a fine halt. Last but not least, we are going to be speaking about ego. Each and every person has an ego, and it's how you deal with your ego that is going to get you the best results in mediumship. I don't know, it's probably worth mentioning on this video actually, but before you come into mediumship, each and every one of you should work on yourself as a person. And that might be news to a lot of you, to be fair, because there's not many mainstream teachers or many people who tell you that. But you have to be working on yourself before coming into mediumship. The person that you are is going to be mirrored into your mediumship development. Therefore, if you have flaws, if you have issues, those are going to come into your mediumship. So we need to be dealing with it at a soul level, at a personal level, to help you along your divine spiritual path. When you come into mediumship, you are going to be that person that you need to be able to be the most and best perfect conduit to the spirit world. Remember, the message isn't for you. Well, it is if you're doing a reading for yourself, but the majority of the time, if you're doing a reading for somebody else and it doesn't make sense, you speak it, my friend, because the message isn't for you in that reading. You could sit there and go, well, I'm not saying that. I'm not going to say that. Well, no, that's your job. That's your responsibility. It's not there for you to decode. It's not there for you to understand why the message is like that. You just speak it. So the ego is going to come in your mediumship development, because there's going to be a lot of you who feel it should work on your terms. It should work in the way that you demand. And also, you put so much effort, so much hard work into this, then why wouldn't it work? The problem is this isn't a simple thing. It really isn't. And if you hit this part of the video, then you probably realize how difficult mediumship can be. When it is performed and executed with clarity, and it is done to give direction and purpose into one's world, it's life-changing. It's mesmerizing. It's beautiful and majestic all at the same time. But so many people fall victim to their own ego. And the reason why they fall victim to their own ego is very, very simple. They haven't been told from the very beginning that they need to address the egotistical side of them as a person. These are the sorts of people that you will see on public platforms who tell you that you have to protect, you have to light sage, you have to do this, You have to do that or this won't work. They won't tell you that you can all connect, because they'll tell you that only some of you connect, the gifted ones among you. Now, we don't believe in gifts on this channel, and I'll tell you the reason why. The word gift implies that you can do something that I can't, or I can do something that you can't, because I've had gifts poured upon me by the angels themselves. Ludicrous. What one human being can do, each and every human being can do on this planet. You are all the same species. There is not one person that is different. What there is clear difference in understandings. We can give you the understandings that serve you. We can break you down as a person. We can build you back up to be the best and most greatest medium that you could be. The problem is you have to do yourself, is you have to learn why you tick the way that you do, why you get angry, why it is that you can become egotistical. And if you are somebody who's like, well, I don't get egotistical, Jordan, I don't. That's your ego speaking. Each and every one of we do get egotistical. And it's how we deal with it and how we overcome that hurdle that makes a difference. So those are my top 20 things that I think are going to destroy and sever your connection to the spirit world. If you think that there's anything that I've missed, remember to drop it down in the comment section. And if you did enjoy this video, remember to check out the videos pinned at the top left and right. Until the next time, bye-bye for now.